Hello and welcome to Rauta's Steelchaos 2023 recap now that the festival is over. The good news is the festival was great. The bad news are, well, I got sick and unfortunately this was the last Steelchaos as far as we can see, as far as we know at the moment. So anyway, my voice a little bit down and all that stuff. Let's try to recap the whole thing here, what was going on last weekend in Hyvinkää, the very same venue used to host Steelfest. Unlike Steelfest, actually, Steelchaos always takes 2 days, or well, used to, now in past tense because, well, the festival is no more, it seems, and of course there is no outdoor stage because, I mean, it's quite late in October, Finnish October, mind you, which means wind can get relatively cold as well as the general weather waning. That's probably the reason I got sick and was having a fever for a couple of days despite having enough clothes on and all that stuff. I mean, we really don't do much of getting clothes off during wintertime, especially with the exception of sauna, of course, which might have me getting ill. Never know for sure. Always some kind of a weather fall box out there. Now, weather talk aside, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the lineup, and how it was. Well, you probably already know, in case you have been watching the preview ones, I was actually there performing with my own band, Nightside, which is there listed as the opening act on Friday, 6 o'clock, and it was a blast. For us, I don't want to talk too much about my own band because, well, it kind of gets derailing the whole topic, but since that's the elephant in the room, one of them was a fucking blast. It was, in my opinion, a good performance. However, I'm of course biased to criticize our own gig, but being an opening act, we had a great experience with technical staff doing the longer sound check, and the sound was great. That was our biggest stage so far, and probably biggest audience as well, and pretty much all, not maybe the total of all, feedback we got is that we did nicely, at least for the people who were there. I mean, lots of people arrived later, which is kind of understandable that some people just won't be there at 6 o'clock Friday evening, especially if they get out from work around 5 or so. But for us it was a good experience, and for me it means a lot that our band was supporting whatever Steelfest organizers are doing, because it's always been one of those festivals who want to go for extreme metal and are not interested to fight these nonsense cancel culture battles, but just showcase a lot of interesting bands from various parts of extreme metal, black metal and death metal mostly. And for me it means a lot that we're on the same page with that stuff. No, this is not about politics, this isn't about choosing sides, this is about performing metal in a way that, in my opinion, is very important, and always stay true to the roots, and that is, playing whatever you want and all that stuff. Feel free to disagree with a lot of bands and their artists with their different opinions, whether it comes from lyrics or interviews or whatever, but let's be honest about it. Metal should be, in one way or another, about rebellion, and I think this is exactly a good example of a festival that has showcased a lot of bands from various parts of the world, various worldviews, and they get along just fine on stage. After all, it's music that we're here for, not anything else. Well, drinking might be the second reason, and meeting friends as the third one. Anyway, after that, we shared the stage with the, not literally at the same time though, shared the stage with our guys from Turku, the very same city as us, Norhem, which I unfortunately, of course, didn't see because that's when you're at the backstage cleaning your makeup and having a couple of beer to relax and shit. But I trust they did a good show. At least their merchandise was selling nicely. So I think they made new fans as well. Followed was, by them, was Evil Angel playing some old school dirty shit. And of course they're quite a different breed, quite a different animal than compared to the 1990s vibing Norhem or Nightside playing more melodic black metal. Evil Angel is more about, trashy and kind of a heavy metal as well. Didn't see much, but I can say these guys are for old school stuff. And I don't think they let anybody down who is into that kind of stuff. They played a special set, and those who came for that probably pleased. And the second to last was Gunther's playing a show, Power 1. We actually shared a stage with them last December, and they kicked ass back then, and now, of course, we actually share the same backstage room with the guys, and more or less being friends with guys, it was a pleasure to meet them once again, and they played a good show. If you know what Gunther is all about, you know what to expect, kind of a classical take on black metal. The 1990s, yet still also a modern take. And new album is coming, by the way, late November this year. That will be, of course, reviewed as well, so stay tuned for that. And then the evening, the first one was finished by Satanic Warmaster playing their own show, and they, curiously enough, started with Wasp cover, which was a little bit of a shock, I guess, to a younger audience or people who don't like heavy metal that much. But they made a good show, whatever it's worth, finishing the later on with Metallica track, which I didn't see, and playing a few tracks of their own, of course, in the middle. So I think Satanic Warmaster really nailed it, but it also managed to annoy some people, but I guess that comes with the territory. Now, that was a good Friday, in my opinion. And as you can see, there's a difference between the amount of bands, and this was because there were longer breaks between the bands here than on Saturday, which started as early as 3:30 with Maidenhell, a Iron Maiden cover band done by a female vocalist. Didn't see, we were having sauna and food and all that stuff, so we made it barely to Cannibal Accident around 6 o'clock, and their funny grind stuff, it's always entertaining live and all that stuff. Didn't disappoint this time either. It was kind of a special show, and would make no sense if I started explaining. Go see their live clips, or even better yet, go see them live. Always highly entertaining bands. Now, the rest of the evening for me was a little bit of back and forth hopping out and in. So there was like this few bands gap where I saw some parts of like Crypts playing their old school dirty dark death metal, and a little bit of Ernst Black and Trash, because I actually had some working things to do, so really can't like go through reviewing all the stuff. Give me the excuse for that. But overall, I would say this evening was more or less successful one, much like Friday. Bathroom gig I unfortunately missed totally, and a lot of people kept saying it was one of the best by the band for years, and it was kind of a shame, but at the moment I was doing an interview with Talker guy Hust, so I had a really good excuse for that. Now, Talker, as always, performed really nicely, also really loudly, almost like too much for my ears, but seen them already this year and also last year. I only watched maybe half a gig while having a good time with my friends and all that stuff, but I can say it's worth your money if you like the music. So Talker is one of those bands that never seem to let you down. Now, this is about the bands. What can I be said about Steelchaos is that for me personally, because our own gig and all that stuff, it was the most memorable one for me, as the whole Steelchaos history. But then again, Steelchaos history is only partially at the same venue as with Steelfest, because the festival started in different venue, and of course the whole mood is different with this one rather than the original take. Always been a great way to celebrate coming winter during roughly before Halloween time and all that stuff. So it's a shame that it's now a goner. If I was a more emotional guy, I would be probably crying here out of sad emotions and all that shit. I'm just gonna say we are going to miss Steelchaos. It never was as big as Steelfest, obviously, but it always was something you would, wait for during October and all that stuff, catering to your need with black metal, death metal, thrash metal, and a various combination of all that stuff, and even sometimes beyond, like with Maidenhell, offering some heavy metal, even if a cover band. All in all, everything was great. Staff, as always, very pro, very nice. Friendly people, met new people, new friends, as well as old friends. A lot of handshakes, a lot of meaningful talks, lots of funny talks, lots of anecdotes, details, stories about the future and all that stuff. So what can I say? Steelchaos is something that should not be missed, but more like we're looking forward to the next edition. And unfortunately, as it seems, that won't be happening. But the good news is, Steelfest 2024 will be there for 3 days of Festival Madness. and some new bands, around 15 new bands will be announced next Tuesday. And this will also serve as a teaser to that one, because I already got the new lineup information regarding that. So stay tuned for my Tuesday episode, and I'll go through some of the bands, most bands anyway, playing there. There will be some debut ones, there will be some really interesting black metal ones, some really interesting death metal ones, and then something beyond. We shall discuss that at the Steelfest 2024 preview video, so you know something to expect next week, and then start expecting your trip to Hyvinkää, Finland in May 2024. So keep your eyes peeled and all that stuff. Once again, should you have any questions or comments about Steelchaos or Steelfest, let me know in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Now off you go to listen to some music, and I hope you had a good time at Steelchaos 2023. If not, shame on you. Thanks and bye bye.